Tim's News Explosion. 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 Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Tim's News Explosion. During these news blasts, I untwist the established news narrative of the week in a fast-paced 30-minute digest every Monday evening. We are live, as always, on the Wilmsfront YouTube and D-Live channels. Hello to everyone in the live chats. You can interact with the program more directly through the Entropy Live link, which I put into the live chats there, where you can ask a question or send through a super chat. Kreshko says, my eyes seem blurry tonight. What's exactly wrong there? Haha, Jinx says, astonishing stuff, like a pantomime. That's referring to Kreshko's elaborate comments in the live chat. He's very active there. Hello to Margot as well. It is Monday, the 5th of July, 2021. It is 8:30 p.m. here in Melbourne, Victoria, where it has gotten even colder. It was probably the coldest weekend of the year just passed, and we have rolling rainfall every few days. It can just, at a moment's notice, it can just downpour, even if it's not forecast there. It's just been amazingly cold. I know that winter catches all Australians by surprise, but it definitely seems one of those really, really cold winters, so much for global warming. But of course, when it comes to climate change or global warming, the cold weather doesn't disprove the climate change theory. But when it's extremely hot, then the advocates, they always claim that that's the proof that climate change is happening. That's certainly what they're claiming up in the United States and Canada, with a lot of the wildfires are happening. But as we'll get to later in the show, a lot of these wildfires are deliberately lit. But we'll stay in Victoria for the start and then branch out nationally. So even though we may be out of lockdowns here in Victoria, there are still plenty of dissidents in the lockup. Now, you may remember that when Neil Erickson was serving his 1 month in prison for disturbing religious worship at Islamic Prayers and Federation Square. They wanted to move him from the Melbourne Assessment Prison to Port Phillip Prison, which is one of the maximum security ones there, because he was a high-profile offender. Certainly, he's offensive to a lot of people, but that plan was aborted due to the fact that there was another COVID lockdown, and so they would have violated their own COVID guidelines to transfer him there. But since Thomas Sewell, who's facing armed robbery charges amongst other various ones, and since he was denied bail and he won't be facing trial until, well, at least a year there, the powers that be have got their wish. And so Thomas Sewell this week was moved to Port Phillip Prison. This article was written here on the XYZ by his, it's a republishment of a Telegram post by his right-hand man in all the various National Socialist groups that the pair of them run. Jacob Persianet runs National Socialist Network, while Thomas Sewell runs the European Australian Movement. Jacob Persianet calls Port Phillip Prison the meat grinder, the gauntlet, the killing fields, Port Putrid. It's a privately owned, what is it he calls that, shithole, which is overcrowded, dimly lit, and has the feeling of a mental asylum. Living conditions there are well below human standards. The cells lack ventilation and are cramped. The unit housing the prisoners are out of control. Now, I did notice that Blair Cottrell, who has served time in Port Phillip Prison in his youth when he was serving his time for all of those offences that he committed in his youth that have widely been reported. He says that Jacob's description here of Port Phillip is just hyperbole there, and Blair says it was the best prison he ever went to. So I'm not sure. Well, I guess if you are sent to prison, there is obviously better places to go. But yeah, a difference of opinion there. We'll see how Thomas holds up over the next year there, because he's certainly going to be there for a long time, while the Victorian justice system is extremely slow and COVID has slowed it down completely. So he won't get his day in court for at least a year is the predicted time frame here. Now, just for those who weren't aware, Nick Patterson, who was at the Melbourne Assessment Prison, charged with assaulting police, amongst other charges, during a anti-lockdown protest back in late May. He was granted bail last week, but he has been essentially gagged. He's not allowed to post to social media, talk about COVID, but obviously he's back with his wife and family there. This is the post that was published on the RDA website by director Monica Schmidt. I know that a YouTube account with Monica's name is regularly in the chat tonight, or I haven't seen it tonight, but it is regularly there. So Monica did the main, you would say, more objective article about Nick's ongoing legal fight. I'm sure that the Victoria Police will throw every available resource at prosecuting Nick, so they can send him to jail for a substantial period of time. Mandatory minimum sentence for assaulting police is 6 months, so that's the minimum that he's looking at. Pastor Paul Furlong, who was the other anti-lockdown protester on that weekend, who was arrested and charged with incitement, he made bail, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now. So both two of those political prisoners have been released. Now, up in Brisbane, because that was subject to a lockdown last week, many people saw live to air the arrest of Telegram Patriot personality Filthy. So he went viral during the last Brisbane lockdown for being in a Coles without a mask, and so he did the same this time, but he went to a Centrelink office to parade his maskless face again. So this is again from XYZ. The mainstream media reported, after becoming aware of the live stream, investigating officers from the Browns Plain police station identified Simpson, which was at the Grand Plaza, and arrested him outside the centre. Police said after his arrest that Simpson had a valid exemption for not wearing a mask, but he was wanted on another number of other charges, including assault police, obstruct police, commit public nuisance, and failing to appear. And David Hiscott makes a point to arrest him during a live stream, which he's been advocating against mask mandates and lockdowns, indicate the police understood the political context of what they were doing, that waiting for such an opportunity rather than going to his house could have served a more sinister purpose. So Filthy won't face court until, I believe, August 2. So he faces a month on remand. And, well, being imprisoned on remand is pretty much just as punishing as an actual jail sentence there. So there's another one there. Interesting opinion there, Senator Slayer, about Filthy being a martyr. I don't know about that. I don't know about the other charges that he is facing there. I mean, they're allegations. August 2 is the first mention. Lol, it's way longer. Well, he might get bail. Who knows? These are all very fluid situations, as we have seen. And now we're going to stick on a crime update. Now, on Tim's News Explosion, it was a couple of months ago, I reported on a Yarra City Council Greens councilor, Anab Mohamud, who was accused of a violent homophobic attack outside an LGBTQ dance party, Pufdu. Now, she has been charged with assault, offensive behaviour, and public drunkenness over the alleged fight with another woman in South Yarra back in April. So the Stottingham Crime Investigation Unit said the charges fell on an incident in Bray Street in the early hours of Sunday, the 11th of April, in which a verbal altercation between two women escalated to an alleged physical fight. Councillor Mohamud did not respond for requests for comments. The Victorian Greens issued a statement. Councillor Mohamud is glad that the charges have been laid against the person who assaulted her and is working to clear her name against the allegation that she instigated her own assault, a joint statement by the Greens co-convener Effie Ellen and Nisa Sims. The Victorian Greens welcome that a court will give Councillor Mohamud an opportunity to make clear what occurred in the lead up to her assault. Yarra City spokeswoman declined to make any comment. So it's clear that the Victorian Greens, that they believe that Councillor Mohamud, she didn't do nothing. Obviously, she's presumed innocent. We will see how this unfolds in court. But during the alleged altercation, she allegedly screamed a lot of vile homophobic comments. Now, moving on to Australian political developments, and if there's one thing that the blue drops on Twitter and the feminists who are platformed in the mainstream media like to beat the Morrison government with, it's their supposed women problem. And a blast from their past has reappeared again. Former Liberal MP for Chisholm, Julia Banks, has written a book called Power Plays, and an extract was published in the Nine newspapers on Saturday. So this is the extract. It was in their Good Weekend magazine. Shut up and take your, I think HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy. ex-MP Julia Banks on Canberra's Boys Club. When Julia Banks transitioned from successful corporate career into federal politics, she was shocked to find sexism and backroom skullduggery still running rife. The best antidote, channeling Helen Mirren. I never knew that Helen Mirren was a politician. I thought she was an actress there. Now, she's made this allegation that an unnamed cabinet minister put his hands on her thighs when they were all congregated together before a crucial vote in Parliament. And she doesn't name this cabinet minister, but when Julia Banks was making all these allegations about bullying when she quit the Liberal Party, they were all generalised accusations, and they seem to continue here. I still find it hard to fathom that a woman who, well, by all accounts, has thrived in the corporate and legal profession would would be shocked and triggered out of her senses by 3 years in politics. Obviously, she's clearly not done with her political career, or some might call it political vengeance. She ran at the last federal election against Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt in Flinders, because one of the 4 properties that Julia Banks owns is based in the electorate of Flinders. She only got about 10% of the vote. She's aligned with this group of sort of blue-green independents, so she might run again at the next election there. And now, the woman issue that supposedly the coalition has was dug up again with the pre-selection in Queensland, the LNP pre-selection for the seat of Bowman on the weekend, because Andrew Laming's retiring due to these allegations of bullying and harassment against constituents. And now there were 5 candidates who went for the LNP pre-selection for Bowman, which is a fairly safe Liberal seat in South Brisbane. There were 4 women and 1 man, and the man got up, Henry Pike, and he was the candidate backed by the Minister for Women, federal LNP Senator Amanda Stoker. Now, when he won the pre-selection, this comment that he made a decade ago was dug up, because he said, it states quite clearly in the Bible that fucking a fat chick is a sin beyond redemption. I'm not theologically literate here. Maybe Margot is who's the most theologically literate Christian that I know. Maybe might be able to shed some light whether fucking a fat chick is a sin beyond redemption there. But you can guarantee that the Labor Party will hope that they win this seat. They'll pre-select a woman to go against this supposed sexist pig. Yes, I do know that for some reason my face is quite blurry on this live stream. I don't know why. You might be able... something, it says here in the StreamYard, my Wi-Fi signal is weak, even though according to my computer, my Wi-Fi signal is strong. So I don't know if there's something wrong with StreamYard, but you can all hear me clearly, that I hope, because that's the important thing. I wonder if they're the images and videos that I'm playing have got the same thing, or it could be just the webcam that I'm using. I thought you didn't like to comment about COVID, Senator Slayer there. Now, but I am going to mention, well, not COVID itself, but the series of arrests that local police made around the Australian cities under lockdown. Now, there was the owners of an organic shop in Brawl, which is a suburb just out of southwestern Sydney. They were, you would say, brutally arrested.
I am.
By the New South Wales.
You are not the boss of us. I don't think you realise.
You do not have, if they say they're exempt, they're not exempt. They're not exempt. There's no exemption.
There is.
You understand, Sergeant, that they people don't have to give the reasons for the exemption.
You are bending my arm backwards.
I can see what you're doing.
You don't see to understand. You do not see to understand that you cannot
walk away.
I can do
walk away.
What has she done?
Walk away. She's hindering police. Walk away.
What has she done? She's
Not
not hindering police.
What is the arrest
The
notice?
senior sergeant, the senior constable has dealt with it for a while now.
And
He has dealt with it for the
So you
last
need to arrest all of us.
What is she guilty of?
He's waiting for his
What is she guilty of?
Idiots.
Don't walk
Careful, Mark,
Get
Mark, Mark,
I'm
Mark,
telling you.
Oh! Fuck me! You guys are bastards!
Really?
Come on, stop resisting. You're under arrest.
What about this fat bloke here?
I've got it all on film. I've got it on film.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, you are pathetic.
Stop it, I'm down.
You're a fucking
Stop
bully.
it.
What's your name?
How pathetic
Stop
are
it.
you
Get off
people?
me.
Stop it.
Right, what is your name?
Yes, or what?
You've got it already.
I don't have it already. You wouldn't let me film it.
Why shouldn't I fucking...
You need to calm
Put up
down.
with your bullshit.
You guys are... Who are you acting for? The people or your government?
You're under arrest too.
Oh, for God's sake, give me back my phone.
You're under arrest.
Give me back my
For
phone.
hindering.
Yes, so as you can see, quite a dramatic arrest there. So I notice here Senator Slayer has said respect the law. Obviously, Senator Slayer is taking the anxious Aussie position there, and well, clearly those two owners of that organic cafe, they knew that, well, officially they were breaching the law, and they just wanted to make a statement of civil disobedience, because what are the police what else are they going to do when they get reports to Crime Stoppers about a business that is not enforcing masks during lockdown? Stephen Wells, who has been on various Unshackled productions and whose books are for sale on the unshackled.net, he decided to get arrested.
You're going to provide your contact number? Are you going to put on a face mask?
Try and get as many people as we can on camera when they get back to the mall.
You know it's a requirement? You're currently under arrest for failing to wear a face mask. You understand? You're not obliged to say to anything. Anything you do, say to do. You will be recorded by this camera. Maybe evidence. You've got the right to speak to a friend prior to being interviewed. Right to any necessary medical treatment. And also the very privacy from mass media. If you wish to exercise any rights. You've also got the right to an interpreter. Do you need an interpreter?
No, sir.
No? Okay, you understand your rights?
Can you please identify yourself, sir?
Acting Sergeant Pope, 13649. And sir, you're on arrest as well. And ma'am, you're also on arrest.
And the charges are?
Trying to wear a face mask in public.
Okay.
So what's your full name, sir?
My name is Stephen Wells, spelled with a PH.
Identification on yourself with photo or anything like that, no?
Date of birth, sir?
1st of the 4th, 1969.
And what's your current address?
All right, so that's what happened to Stephen on the weekend, arrested for not wearing a mask. Now, he was attending if I put it up on the screen, things are very slow here at the moment. Maybe there's some sort of internet conspiracy theory against me and the Unshackled here. This was the Perth Freedom March against mandated mandatory vaccines for healthcare and FIFO workers, because that was one of the things that was announced at two national cabinet meetings last week. Thankfully, most of Australia is out of lockdown now, except for Greater Sydney. Now, the daily health hazard report from the New South Wales Health Minister, Brad Hazzard. This was his opinion on the Brawl cafe owners.
I just want to emphasise to our community the importance of following health instructions. I just want to emphasise to our community the importance of following health instructions. We are deep in a war with this virus, and we can't win this war unless the community are all with us, absolutely. Now, most of the community are with us. Most of the community understand the weapons we have in this war, QR codes, getting tested if you've been at a venue of concern or if you have symptoms, any cold or flu-like symptoms, and of course, wearing masks. When you're in a war, you don't win it with wacko views. And unfortunately, we're seeing that with some people who think that it's okay not to wear masks. My strong message to the community is We will only win this war against the virus if people wear masks and follow all of the other instructions that we understand will keep us safe. We owe this to ourselves, we owe this to the community more broadly, we owe this to our families. Wear a mask and don't get caught up in the wacko views that some are expressing.
So Brett has repeatedly called this a war against the virus. He called it a guerrilla fighter, the virus. And because there is such a shortage of vaccines, according to him, he came up with a new analogy today.
That, we now have almost a sense of, it's almost a sense now of the Hunger Games, of people chasing vaccine. And until we get enough vaccine and enough GPs actually at the front line able to provide that vaccine into arms, we will continue to have effectively the Hunger Games going on here in New South Wales.
Now, I only played two anti-mask arrests because if I played all of them, this show would probably go for around about an hour. So Victor Tay, the Exercising My Rights guy and pastor, he was arrested again for exercising the CBD, and a 12-year-old girl was arrested and pepper sprayed for not wearing a mask as well. So that's the state of things down under. Up in the Northern Hemisphere, things are returning back to normal, which is great, but it also means that the cultural Marxists up there are going back to their normal. And now, obviously, the 4th of July, the US Independence Day, that gets the most, you would say, publicity news beaming into Australia. Obviously, the cultural Marxists, the race baiters have been attacking it for years. But up in Canada, their annual Canada Day on the 1st of July, which commemorates the Canadian Confederation, which was established in 1867, they decided the local Antifa and various social anti-industrialist decolonization decided to tear down a statue of Queen Victoria.
Genocide!
Oh, sorry, I've got a phone call coming through here. Hello, you're on Tim's News Explosion.
Hello, Timothy. Is this Wilmsborough?
No, this is Tim's News Explosion.
I was confused by the logo.
Were you?
I was.
I don't think you're coming through.
You can't hear me? Is that better? Hello? You there?
I'm sure they'll call back in a moment, but just going back to, oh, here we go here. Hello? Hello? Oh, God damn it. All right, I think we'll give that up for the time being. But yes, so the reason why they tore down the statue of Queen Victoria is, well, obviously she was the colonial monarch at the time, and like Australia Day, Canada Day is also attacked by the local race baiters there for being insensitive to the massacres and mistreatment of Aboriginal and Indigenous people. That's what they're called in Canada as well, Aboriginal and Indigenous people. And they've also burnt down a number of Catholic churches because it was a lot of the Aboriginal and Indigenous children in the 19th century were under the care of the Catholic Church, where they were mistreated, and apparently they found a grave recently of deceased Aboriginal children from 100 years ago. So they've been burning down churches. The Canadian police have, funnily enough, been nowhere to be seen with regard to these tearing down these statues and burning of churches. They're too busy arresting the pastors who conduct services inside those churches for breaching lockdown there. So Justin Trudeau has condemned the destruction of these statues. But of course, well, I don't think he's probably going to take a feather duster to these. Most of them are his supporters or supporters of the new Democratic Party, which is the far left party over in Canada. That was the one that was lobbying for the Proud Boys in Canada to be listed as a terrorist organization. And now you would be aware, if you're still allowed on Facebook, that last Friday on Facebook was Extremist Friday, because there are all these messages that came up on people's Facebook feeds. Are you concerned that someone you know is thinking for himself? We care about preventing independent thought on Facebook. Make sure to report friends who are exercising free thought. Then there is also, you are the extremist. You are red-pilling the masses with your truth and edgy meme. Get help by our communist experts. Your account will be terminated if you do not comply with our communist standards. And then there is also, this is a Independence Day, 4th of July. Are you concerned that someone you know is acting too American? We care about preventing freedom of speech on Facebook. Other comrades in your situation have received confidential support. And then if you're posting a anti-Semitic white nationalist content, it comes up with a dedicated one basically saying that diversity is our strength, that immigrants don't commit crimes, and that Jewish people do not have that much influence that you claim there. Now, I'll finish off with some good news that Donald Rumsfeld, the former Secretary of Defense under President Gerald Ford and George W. Bush, one of the neocon architects of the disastrous Iraq War, died at the age of 88. Good riddance. If I was a Christian, I would say, I hope he's burning in hell. Sadly, there's still a lot of neocon warmongers, fake patriots around in the United States. So Dick Cheney is still alive. Hopefully he'll die soon. So will Madeleine Albright, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein. Rot in the ground, Donald Rumsfeld. There, of course, the establishment mainstream neocon media said, "Oh, you were such a statesman." That's what, of course, what they said about John McCain. And yeah, Donald Trump is so horrible because he tweeted mean words, which is why he was eventually deleted from Twitter. One of Donald Trump's campaign aides has opened up another free speech social media platform here called Getter, which is, as you can see, it basically looks like Twitter here. Now, even though it was founded by one of Donald Trump's campaign directors, Trump is still working on his own social media platform, so I don't think I'll bother to join this one. I'll stick with Gab, Telegram, which are the main two alt media ones, and of course for video, Odyssey and BitChute, which replays of Wilmsfront and Tim's News Explosion and other Unshackled productions are uploaded to. Now, I was trying to get on the phone before Jazz Searby, We'll go into both jointly announced, but I guess I'll just have to solo announce that Brawl on the Brain will not be returning from hiatus because Jazz wants to focus on his music. He has recorded around about 3 tracks now and wants to keep going with that. And obviously he's got a newborn third child son with his wife, Kate, a new bundle of joy there. So congratulations. I'll be returning later in the week for Wilmsfront, 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time on the Wilmsfront channels, and then Trad Tasman Talk back with Dewey de Boer on the Unshackled YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Melbourne time. And also new reports from Tiger Mountain will be uploaded to the Unshackled YouTube channel with Richard Wollstonecroft shortly. Thank you everyone so much for watching again. I'll see you next Monday for another Tim's News Explosion, and see you again on Thursday for another Wilmsfront. Good night, everybody. Tim's News Explosion. 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 Tim's News Explosion.